Hello Cloud Gurus and welcome to the Azure AD Connect Lab. This is a bonus lab, the icing on the cake. It's more work to set up than most of the other labs. However, you'll definitely learn a lot if you go ahead. And don't worry, if you decide not to, that's fine. You'll still be able to do the rest of the labs on this course. Ensure you've already completed the Azure AD Custom Domain Lab. And you'll need a standalone Windows Server 2016. The detailed instructions and the code that you'll need to complete this lab are in the Cloud Guru AZ500 GitHub repository. See the resources for this lesson for the link. Follow the instructions in the AD Connect folder README. If you'd like to take the challenge approach to this lab, pause the video now, follow the steps detailed in the GitHub repository, and when you're finished, you can compare how you did it with my walkthrough. If you prefer the guided approach, or you'd just like to watch this as a demonstration, I'll see you in the Azure portal now. We've logged in to the Azure portal. Let's start by taking a look at custom domain names. If you completed the Azure AD Connect Lab, you'll have your own registered domain verified and set to primary, as well as your onmicrosoft.com domain. In my case, the verified domain is learnsecurity.cloud. And just a reminder, it's essential to have a registered domain name set up in Azure AD in order to do this lab. If you take a look at your users, you'll probably just have one user in your registered domain from when you tested the custom domain lab. Go ahead and delete this user, just to avoid any possible conflicts later. So your Azure AD is in a condition ready to start this lab. Let's take a look at the requirements for the Windows Server 2016, which will simulate your on-premise Active Directory. This is the Cloud Guru AZ500 GitHub repository. I've put the link to this in the resources section for this lesson. I'll go into the AD Connect folder. The requirements for the Windows Server, which will simulate our on-premise Active Directory domain controller, are listed here. It needs to be a newly installed Windows Server 2016. It must be a standalone server not joined to a domain. The Active Directory Domain Services role should be added, however the domain must not have already been created. And we need unrestricted outbound access to the internet. Once you've built a server that meets these requirements, go ahead and connect into it using Remote Desktop. I'll see you on the Windows Server desktop now. Here we are on the Windows Server desktop. This Windows Server will simulate our on-premise domain controller. In my case, I've set it up in Amazon Web Services, but it can be anywhere so long as the requirements are met. Start by browsing to the Cloud Guru AZ500 repository on GitHub and download the contents to the Windows Server. Extract the zip file. Move into the AD Connect folder and open the Create Users and Domain PowerShell script by selecting Edit. Your Windows PowerShell ISE will open. Go down to lines 122 to 124 of the script. Edit from example.com to your own registered domain, which must exactly match the verified domain you've already set up in Azure AD. In my case, I'll replace example with learn security and com with cloud. And save. Before we run the script, let's take a look at it. The script starts by calling a function higher up on the page to create a new Active Directory domain forest. Creation of the domain will take a little while and require a reboot, after which you'll need to run the script again. Then the script sets up two groups, each again calling a function further up the page. The first is training, and the second one is called DevOps. Next, the script imports a CSV file in the same folder, containing user details. The script generates a random password for each user, and then creates the user account within Active Directory. Finally, the script joins members to the groups, using the other sample CSV files to establish group membership. Okay, it's time to run the script in an administrator PowerShell session. After the initial reboot, just connect back in via remote desktop again, using the same administrator credentials as before. Press the green play button to run the script. Enter a safe mode administrator password, which you shouldn't ever need. And confirm. Select Yes to all. And your new Active Directory domain server forest will now be installed. This will take a little while, so I'll fast forward the video at this point. After around 5 minutes, we've connected back in via remote desktop to the Windows server. Let's check to see whether our new Active Directory domain forest has been created. Go to Windows Administrative Tools, Active Directory, Domain and Trusts. You should see your new domain here. Let's return to the PowerShell script. Open the Create Users and Domain PowerShell script as before. And press the green play button to run the script. The Active Directory domain already exists, and the script is now setting up your user accounts and groups. Check out whether your users and groups have been created successfully by going to Windows Administrative Tools, Active Directory Users and Computers. Expand your new domain, and then Users. All your new users should be shown here. You'll also see your new groups, Training and DevOps. Your new domain is created. Its name exactly matches the verified domain in your Azure AD. You have users and groups set up, so you're now ready to install and configure Azure AD Connect. For this lab, you're going to install Azure AD Connect directly on this server. In the real world, in an enterprise environment, you should never install Azure AD Connect onto the domain controller itself. You should set up a separate server specifically for this purpose. Search for the Microsoft Azure Active Directory Connect download. Download and install. And the Welcome to Azure AD Connect screen should come up. Continue. Use Express Settings. Enter your Azure AD Global Administrator credentials. Confirm your password and approve the sign-in request from your mobile device. Now, enter your Active Directory Domain Services Administrator credentials and install. Your Azure AD is being configured and synchronized with your on-premise Active Directory domain. This may take a little while, so I'll speed the video up. Okay, that took around 10 minutes, and as you can see was extremely straightforward. Configuration of your Azure AD Connect is now complete. Let's return to the Azure portal. Here are your users. Press refresh. You can see that all of the users from your on-premise Active Directory have been synchronized to the cloud. Let's take a look at groups. If we look at the source, you'll see previous groups created in the cloud. And all the other groups have been synced from your on-premise Active Directory via Azure AD Connect. Training and DevOps are the two groups which you created using the script. And the other groups are automatically created by Microsoft as part of the Azure AD Connect install process. Let's return to the Azure AD Connect overview. We can see from the sync status that the last sync was less than 1 hour ago, and that password hash sync has been enabled. Moving to Azure AD Connect Health, sync services are shown as healthy. And there should be no sync errors. That concludes the Azure AD Connect Lab. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, feel free to move on to the next lecture.